Good morning. Today in my PowerPoint presentation, I'm going to focus on father-daughter relationships and psychological health. The overview of what we'll be discussing in my PowerPoint is why I chose this topic, the history of the research that had been done, the current history and research that's being done, and then any questions or feedback you may have at the end. Why I chose to do this topic. For me personally, it was a topic that really hit home. At the age of 2, I had lost my father and I grew up in a single parent home. At the age of 12 years old, I entered into the foster care system. And for the first time in my life, I saw and was part of a connected family, a very intact family. And I saw the relationship between a father and daughter and how they interacted with each other. And I saw that void in my life and how it had formed me in my first 12 years of life, and certainly where that void and how it impacted me, and not only me but also my brothers and my sisters. I saw my brothers had developed a juvenile record, and they were aggressive. They had sought older male friendships, I believe, to try to bond with that father that they had never had. My sister had an extremely low self-esteem. She sought relationships with older men, and she certainly needed the approval of older men in order to establish her own self-esteem. And I saw that relationship, father-daughter relationship, as I grew older, how it not only impacted me as a young child, but it also started showing different things as I got older. The history of the research that had been done for fathers, daughters was very thinly done. There were some interviews done, but it was certainly an area that was unrepresented for fathers. The focus that had been done regarding child and parent relationships was mostly in regards to the mother and how that relationship impacted children as they grew into adulthood. Now, that's not to say that there was no research done on the father-daughter relationship, but the research that had been done was primarily done in regards to fathers that were absent or fathers that were abusive. The focus on the current research that I had done was the Moreno-Perkins study, and that was a self-report instrument in which assesses a child's relationship in regards to her father and how that affects and changes her in adulthood. This was a study that was done with 96 women at a college, and they had done an ACL, an adjective checklist, in which there were 300 adjectives on this list. Now, these women went through this list 4 times, and they marked what they thought was pertinent to them and how their father viewed them and how they viewed their relationship with their father. And in this study, they saw that there were certain areas that had the standardized personality instrument that measured certain dependent variables such as assertiveness, relational needs, their cognitive ego stats, and then their negative self-image. Those that did respond to it had 48 questions, and they saw that there were 6 relationships that developed across the board. The first relationship that they saw was the supportive father. Now, that is the best relationship that these girls could have. He was not too controlling, but he was just supportive in all their desires, and that's the relationship where the females ended up the best. And then there was the controlling father. Now, he was still supportive, but he controlled certain aspects of their lives. And although the females developed good self-images, they never seemed to step out of the infantile phase of how their father saw them. So they always viewed themselves as still young girls in their father's eyes. The next relationship that they saw was the doting father. Now, this is not just the difference between the doting and the supportive father is that this was an unhealthy view the father saw their daughters in. It was an unusual attachment. You saw that the girls in this relationship had a tendency to pull away from their moms, and they did this because they loved that relationship. They appreciated the father doting, and I guess in order to protect that relationship, they separated more from their mothers and kept solely to their father because they liked being the favorite. Next was the distant father. This is different from the absent father in that the father is still present in the home. He is just not available. He is quiet. He is kept to himself. He has given over all of the household chores to the mother. And this also causes the female to separate from the mom. They recognize the unhappiness in the father, the tension in the home, and they blame the mother for that. And the last one was the tyrant and abusive father. Now this father, I'm sorry, this is not the last one, this is the fifth one. This is the tyrant and abusive father, and this is where it's very controlling, it's very restrictive, it's intensely anger in the way he deals with the children, the daughter. It's verbally abusive as well. And the child has a tendency to pull away and seek this exact same relationship when she begins her dating and seeking a partner for life. And the last one is the seductive, and this is intensely manipulative. Daughters experience humiliation and self-degradation. This is probably the worst of all of them. And again, they would seek out the exact same kind of relationships when they begin dating and seeking their own partner in life. New areas to explore are, as you can see, the Merlano-Perkins was a very worthy and valid study, although it did not indicate how to intercept this child in the middle school ages, and maybe how we can take out that negative impact of the father and replace it with a more positive male image, whether that be an older brother, a coach. So that was where the study I felt fell short, because there was nothing that they could supplement in to try to mitigate the repercussions of having a seductive father, a tyrannical father, or such. They should also examine the impact of early substitution of negative father-daughter relationships, like I said, with the positive role models. This is also a good time for girls to get into sports, get into activities, something where there's going to be a male role model, church, where there's a pastor, a youth group, something like that. So this is the time where we can take questions and feedback. I really did enjoy this study. This showed a lot of information for me personally, but also it helped me understand the relationship my daughters have with their father and the impact that has, not only right now, but long term. So thank you very much.